All right. So you started. Can I ask you a couple
Yeah.
details about the your pickup and delivery business? There's great operators that run their pickup and delivery businesses differently, and so I'm just kind of curious on your, maybe it's not even how you're currently operating it, but on your ideas on pickup and delivery. I'm always just kind of curious what people think. One of the controversial ones, which I love to just hear different people's take on it, is pricing by the bag versus by the pound. Do you have a preference?
So yeah, so I mean, I just do it by the pound. I mean, that's kind of like how we've done it. And I would say, for my market, so we're in New Jersey, right? But we're in the shadow of New York City. And
Mhm.
there is a lot of people in New York who are familiar with having laundry done at a laundry mat. And they're familiar with that price per pound model. So, kind of just because of the familiarity in my market with the per pound and my staff being used to processing it in that way, I stay with per pound. I did think about changing last year about to a per bag model. I think the benefit is if you're starting from scratch, I think the benefit is if you price it properly, it is easier for the customer to understand the cost of what it takes to do their laundry. Because when you do by the pound, that is, let's say, the biggest negative is the customer doesn't know, especially a first time customer, how much does this laundry cost. So if you're starting out from scratch, I would look at the per bag model because I think it has a benefit of price transparency to the customer, and it helps with that sign up process because when we go buy something, we kind of always know what the price is. But when we have our laundry done, unless I'm bringing it into the store and dropping it off, I don't know. So for me, I like per pound just because that's the model that we've used, and I think people are familiar with it here. But if you're starting from scratch, I would definitely consider looking at the per bag.
Yeah, I think that's great. A great assessment of kind of the pros and cons of both, because there's pros and cons of both, and there's some heavy hitter
Yeah,
proponents of both. So there's no right or wrong on this. And it might. I think that your market does play into that, and if there's familiarity with one or the other, it actually could be a reason to stay with what they're familiar with, or it also could be a differentiator, right? So different
exactly,
ways
exactly.
to do it. Yeah. And then just out of curiosity, again, not a right or wrong way to do this, but do you do by your pickup and delivery on a route basis, or how do you do your routing for your pickup
Yeah.
and delivery?
Yeah, so we do everything on a route. So we have different routes and we'll go to those routes, different days of the week. And basically every time that we pick up, we deliver it the very next day. And as these routes grow, you can add different service days. So our busiest route, we service Monday through Friday. Most of our other routes, we're picking up 2 times a week, and we're delivering the very next day after we pick up. So as you get more dense, I think your best bet is to then go to 5 days a week of service. And hey, if you're really busy and you want to do it on Saturday, you can. I personally choose not to do it on Saturday, just because you need a break. Every once in a while, you need a break. But servicing 5 days a week, you're getting the majority of your customers, and as you grow, you add those days to those territories because what you want to prevent is driving all over the place like this. Because when you do what's called like on demand, you could be in one neighborhood, go half an hour away, and then go back again to that same neighborhood. Now that doesn't make much sense. Where the, let's say, the logistics end becomes more efficient is when you have more concentration of customers. So if you have a bunch of customers in an area, that driver is going to be able to do that route almost faster than a driver who has, let's say, fewer customers, but they're not concentrated. They're thrown kind of all over. And you become more profitable at a higher concentration of customers in an area. So that's why I like doing it by route and not on demand.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense to the route based.